Make sure you have your stop losses for these plays, you guys, and do not get into them unless it fits your criteria. Hey, what's up YouTube? This is Foxtail Digital coming to you again with Black Girl Stocks. And this is another segment of our top 3 option plays this week, where we're just gonna go over a few profitable trades, a few stock fundamentals, and different strategies that you can do to make it through. So last week's plays went pretty well. I feel like the market overall did well last week, so I hope you guys got some profits with that. First, if this is your first time watching this video, please make sure you click that thumbs up button. It really helps the channel. Also subscribe, click that notification bell so that you get notified anytime I upload a new video for you guys. So the first stock that I want to talk about this week is AMD. This is Advanced Micro Devices. Now, we talked about this a couple of weeks ago when they had their earnings, and as you can see, I mean, the price has literally, it's really gone up a lot. After it hit that high of 122, it has dropped down a lot. So this is what I would consider a pullback because we went from 122 to about 110. So that's pretty much around 10%, and 10% is a healthy pullback on such a great move upwards. Now, as far as fundamentals, AMD is really considered a good stock to buy after this second quarterly earnings. And one of their main competitors is Intel, or CPUs and things for personal computers. One thing that's been really good with AMD is because it's been able to supply these 7 nanometer scale chips and stuff like that. And they've really been outdoing Intel because Intel has had a shortage right now. So they haven't been able to produce or provide as much as AMD is. So AMD is really pretty much kind of dominating the market right now in that bracket. We're going more so for short-term trades. So short-term for me is looking like it could be setting up for a continuation of that uptrend in a bullish move. So you'll see here we're on the 180-day chart. It just had a crossover with the MACD on the 13th. So it just had a crossover with your blue MACD line above the signal. So that's really a bullish indicator. And then our RSI is pretty neutral, well, a little over neutral at 60. So that's still a pretty good sign as far as the uptrend goes. We just broke above this 50-day moving average. That's this white line right here. So it just kind of is touching above that. That's a really good indicator. And then just going from this weekly chart in Thinkorswim, it kind of looks like it's been kind of trading in between the zones. So it's trading in between, we do have the highest of 112 and then the lowest to 104. So it's kind of been trading in between that. And it's looking like it just broke above this 108. So this recent high here, it just broke above that. So like I said, that could be a continuation of that uptrend that we had after the earnings. So to see if we, could break above that going into next week, I really like the Weeble chart. So going into next week, I would need to see a price break above this 111. And so once you see that price break above that 111, then that would just be an obvious continuation of this uptrend. Now let's look at some of the options for this. All right, so looking at these options, I would get an option contract that August 27th because it's not too far out, but it's also not too close. We don't have too high of an implied volatility, so implied volatility is about 43%. I'll be comfortable doing a long play, something at the money, or you can get a little bit out of the money, but I would probably just get one, maybe one or two. It just depends on what your position is. And then I like to see this really high volume of 4,000 and then an open interest of 2,000. So that's pretty good. We have a high delta of 0.54, so that would be pretty good. So if you got into this trade, the most that you can lose is going to be $435. Going forward, I would have a price target of at least 114. And then you'll see right here, this is our super trend indicator. Super trend, we have all green, so but it does look like we're trending upwards as long as that price stays above about 110. So that's actually where I would probably put my stop loss, maybe 110. Well, no, excuse me. That's where I will put my stop loss a little bit below that. So maybe 107 to 108. Put your stop loss there and then just let it ride up. But I would have a price target of at least 114 to this 122. All All right, and the next stock that we're going to be talking about is QCOM. All right, so this is going to be kind of in a similar field as AMD because they are in the chip world also. So QCOM actually is in cell phones. So what's really good about this stock is this is definitely one of the hot 5G stocks to buy right now. So this is really big in 5G. There's a lot of 5G like Verizon, AT&T, everything like that. Those are going crazy, but Qualcomm supplies Apple with modem chips for the iPhones and stuff like that. So this is going to be really, really good with Apple having more rollouts. So this is something to really be looking at as far as the 5G movement. I'm pretty much going to be bullish on this play. Now you'll see we have hit some recent highs. The most recent high is 151. So you'll see it hit that 151 and we have a little bit of a pullback right now down to 148. What I do like about this is that the MACD is looking like it's setting up, for a rip up. It's been in an overall uptrend since before May, and they just had an earnings beat. So they had a really good earnings report on the 28th of July. And you'll see that's probably what caused this really, really good price increase. Like I said, it's been in an uptrend anyway. We had a little bit of a pullback, but it's on its way back up. This one also just crossed above the 50-day moving average. So that's a good sign. It's kind of setting up to look similar to the AMD stock that we just looked at. So I'm kind of in the same environment with this stock. So going into next week, if I was going to do a long play on this, I would need to see the stock move above this 149 because it kind of has been trading in a zone. It did that on Friday going into after hours. So come Monday morning, I would need to see this stock rise a little bit, and it might not even be on Monday. It could be next week, but just going into a weekly swing trade on this, I would need to see it rise above this 49 to show that it's continuing in that uptrend. So that's going to be my entry point, 149 and above, and I would have a price target of 152 because that was the recent high that it just hit. And as you'll see, it's for the most part having higher highs, so we will want it to at least reach a previous high. You'll see that this stock has been, like I said, it's been in an uptrend this week. We are still considered in this uptrend until we broke below this 147. So for this, I would have my stop loss around 147. If it started to drop below that, then that would be an indicator that, we could be going into a downtrend, but it is in an uptrend right now. So going into next week, once you see it break above that 148, 149 zone, then I would do a long call. It's going to be the same expiration, so I would do it August 27th. I would get something in the money, or because it's at 1464, you can get something a little out of the money. The high numbers of our open interest and volume, I would really go for this 150 strike price. All right, and let's get into our last option play of the day, and that's going to be DIS. That's Walt Disney. Everybody knows Disney, Goofy. As you can see, you see this huge spike here in price. We had a really, really good earnings report on last week on the 12th. Just as fast as it went up, it dropped immediately the next day. So that's a little bit unfortunate. Hopefully, if anybody was in on this, you got your profits and got out. But going into next week, we'll just kind of see what happens with Disney. As far as the company goes, long term is doing pretty well. They've had adjusted earnings per shares from 8 cents per share a year ago to 80 cents per share now. So that's a pretty big increase in 1 year. And with, the stream and everything coming out, they're making a lot more revenue. So last year they lost 1.8 billion, but this year they're reported to have 356 million. So that's a big increase too. A lot of people are wanting to go to Disney World. Plus Disney Plus has a lot more subscribers than they were projected to have. So Disney Plus is doing well with their rollout. So if we zoomed out a little bit, now this is on Webull, you'll kind of see that the stock is somewhat been trading in between a zone. So we've had highs around where we are right now, around this high 80s, mid to low 80s. We've had some resistance, and then it'll drop down from there. So is it gonna continue dropping next week? Or going off of that great earnings report, is it going to move upwards? Going into next week, I would like to see if it's going to test that previous resistance because like we just saw, it's been kind of side trading for a while and it just broke above that 180 range. So it could use that 180 as a new support. So I kind of want to test it and see, is it going to drop below that 180 going into next week, or is it going to continue increasing after the earnings and bounce above that. Okay, I'm gonna say I would need to see it go above, right now it's at 181. I would need to see it go above 182, 180, because if it does that, then it's definitely looking like it's moving, you know, continuing moving upwards. But if it continues the way it is right now, because you'll see this is our super trend indicator, we are in our super trend until it trades above at least 181. So if it continues the way it is now and it drops below 180, then it might have a little bit further to drop going into next week. And then we have a low implied volatility of about 25%, so that's good. And we do have high open interest and volumes on these. So till August the 27th, and see what happens with this 180. Or you can pick something a little bit further out, the 182, but it does have a little bit lower open interest and volume. So we'll see what happens next week. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Make sure you check out this video here just to get some more information on trading options. I know a lot of you guys like to trade options. Everybody loves the options. It's the options for me. Okay, so check out this video, kind of brush up your knowledge on options, and I'll catch you guys on the next video. All right.